Hello and welcome back to India Business Insights. Today, let us discuss some of the popular business models in India, which are licensing and franchising. In the dynamic landscape of India's business ecosystem, franchising has emerged as a powerhouse, witnessing a remarkable annual growth rate of 30%. This surge is fueled by escalating consumer demand for branded offerings, favorable franchise regulations, and the expansive trajectory of the Indian economy. As both domestic and foreign companies are establishing their footprint through franchising, the need for a comprehensive understanding of the legal framework from franchising in India becomes paramount. In this video, we'll delve into the burgeoning franchise industry, exploring the advantages it offers to both franchisors and franchisees, while emphasizing the crucial role of compliance with Indian franchising laws and regulations. From intellectual property protection to tax and accounting standards, we navigate the key compliance issues shaping the success of franchises in this dynamic market. Licensing and franchising are popular business models in India, offering opportunities for entrepreneurs to expand their businesses while mitigating risks. However, entering into such arrangements requires careful consideration of legal aspects to ensure a smooth and compliant operation. Licensing in India. Licensing involves granting permission to another party to use intellectual property such as trademarks, patents, or copyrights in exchange for royalties or fees. In India, licensing agreements must adhere to the Indian Contract Act 1872. These contracts should clearly outline the rights and obligations of both parties, including the scope of the license, duration, and financial terms. Registering the license with the relevant authorities provides legal validity and protection. Licensing agreements stand as a cornerstone in safeguarding intellectual property rights, offering a powerful mechanism for the protection and utilization of valuable assets. These agreements empower IP owners to grant third parties the privilege to utilize, modify, and resell their intellectual property for an agreed upon fee while retaining ownership. Let's explore the pivotal categories of licensing agreements and the essential factors contributing to their effectiveness. Categories of licensing agreements. First, standardized market licenses. These pertain to the creation of products or services following standardized formats such as the production of USB devices. Second, product usage licenses. Focused on utilizing patented products, these licenses grant permission to use specific patented technology or products. Third, universal rights licenses. This broader category encompasses rights to utilize all components involved in creating the original intellectual property. Critical factors for effective licensing agreements. For these agreements to yield maximum effectiveness, clarity on ownership rights of trademarks and patents among all parties is paramount. Specification within these categories should include geographical boundaries, defining the geographical scope within which the intellectual property can be utilized or commercialized, nature of IP registration, clarification regarding the nature and scope of the intellectual property's registration, trademark scope, precise delineation of the range of trademarks for services or products covered under the agreement. Licensing agreements serve as a strategic framework for IP owners to extend the reach of their intellectual property while ensuring clarity, protection, and mutual benefit for all involved parties. Franchising in India. Franchising, on the other hand, is a more comprehensive business relationship, encompassing not only the use of intellectual property but also the transfer of an entire business model. Franchising serves as a symbiotic relationship between businesses, enabling one party to grant rights to another to sell its products or services, often accompanied by access to intellectual property rights. This dynamic business model involves a partnership where one entity permits another to distribute its goods or services, leveraging the established brand and intellectual property. Fast food giants like Domino's and McDonald's operate successfully in India by utilizing franchising as a means to expand their reach. Through franchising, these brands extend their market presence by partnering with local entities, allowing them to sell their products and use their trademarks, operational methods, and business models. Franchising serves as a mutually beneficial arrangement, enabling businesses to expand their operations while leveraging the established brand recognition and intellectual property of the franchisor. The franchisee gains the right to operate under the franchisor's brand and receives support in various aspects of business operations. Franchising in India is regulated by the Competition Act 2002, which prohibits anti competitive agreements. Franchisors must ensure their agreements comply with the competition law to avoid legal implications. Compliance challenges in Indian franchising. In the vibrant business landscape of India, franchising has emerged as a popular avenue for businesses seeking expansion. However, as enterprises flourish, the intricate dance with legalities becomes imperative. Today, we unravel the compliance challenges entwined with franchising in India, exploring the intricate web of laws governing intellectual property, franchise agreements, advertising, employment, and taxation. Legal framework dilemmas. While the Indian Contract Act of 1872 allows flexibility in contract execution without written formality, the efficiency of this approach, especially in formalizing agreements between large franchises and franchisees, remains questionable. The specter of tortious liability arising from a franchisee's breach may pose a deterrent to franchisors eyeing Indian expansion. Additionally, the weighty taxation on royalties for intellectual property usage raises concerns that could potentially stall the growth of franchisors in India. Landmark case insights. A pivotal case of Messrs. Gujarat Bottling Company Limited and Oars versus the Coca Cola Company and Oars spotlighted the need for explicit franchise regulations. In 1993, Gujarat Bottling Company or GBC engaged in a pivotal agreement with Coca Cola, securing the rights to bottle and distribute well known beverages like Thumbs Up, Maaza, Limca, Rimzim, and Gold Spot after Coca Cola acquired their trademarks from Parle. The contract imposed a stringent prohibition on GBC, restricting them from engaging with any other company or trademarks during the contract's duration, which was set to continue until 1998. Termination of the contract were permissible within a 1 year prior notice or by mutual consent. Moreover, the agreement barred GBC from supplying syrup in the event of a subsequent transfer of control without Coca Cola's consent. A subsequent contract in 1994 aimed at registering the agreement as a registered user agreement. This contract detailed the product specifications, standards, and their registration under the Trademarks Act. A notable amendment in this contract reduced the notice period required for termination from 1 year to 90 days. In 1995, internal issues surrounding GBC's expansion led to the majority shares being transferred to representatives of PepsiCo, effectively changing ownership. The new owners argued that the 1994 agreement superseded the earlier 1993 agreement. Consequently, they served Coca Cola a 90-day prior notice for terminating the 1994 agreement. Furthermore, they submitted designs for Pepsi products actions that arguably fell beyond the scope of the terms outlined in the 1993 agreement. The 1993 agreement was specifically crafted to transfer the license to GBC, granting them the rights to utilize the trademarks acquired by Coca Cola. This agreement laid out comprehensive terms and provisions dictating the preparation, quality standards, and distribution guidelines for the beverages to be produced by GBC. Consequently, the agreement can be categorized within the realm of a franchise agreement, wherein Coca Cola assumed the role of the franchisor and GBC operated as the franchisee. The introduction of the 1994 agreement served the purpose of registering user agreements and should not be misconstrued as a substitute or replacement for the 1993 agreement. Instead, its primary objective was to formalize and register the terms outlined in the 1993 agreement, focusing specifically on the registration aspect rather than the altering or supplanting the earlier establishment agreement. The court's ruling highlighted that the 1993 agreement did not constitute a restraint of trade, primarily because its applicability was limited to the duration of the agreement and did not extend beyond that period. Moreover, the agreement was mutually entered into by both parties with the aim of promoting Coca Cola products for their mutual benefit. Consequently, the court deemed that the terms and conditions outlined within the 1993 agreement were not intended to restrain trade, but rather served the purpose of promoting the interests of both parties involved. The Supreme Court's ruling emphasized the necessity of precise legislation, underscoring the potential pitfalls in franchise agreements. This case serves as a beacon highlighting the importance of clear guidelines to safeguard both franchisors and franchisees. Intellectual property protection. Intellectual property protection emerges as a cornerstone concern for franchisors. Adhering to Indian law, franchisors must diligently safeguard trademarks, copyrights, and patents. This involves the meticulous registration of intellectual property with government agencies and proactive pursuit of those infringing on these rights. Franchisors must diligently protect their intellectual property, including trademarks, copyrights, and patents, by registering them with appropriate government agencies. This is pivotal for preventing infringement and maintaining the integrity of the franchise. Franchise agreements. Adhering to the Indian Contract Act 1872 is imperative for drafting comprehensive franchise agreements. Despite the Act allowing verbal contracts, the complex nature of franchising makes written agreements essential, ensuring clarity on rights and obligations. Challenges arise, particularly for large franchises, considering the potential tortious liability resulting from a franchisee's breach, possibly hindering expansion. Advertising and marketing rules. Franchisees must comply with Indian advertising and marketing laws, ensuring all materials are factual and non misleading. Adhering to current requirements is crucial to prevent legal complications and maintain transparency with consumers. Employment legislation. Franchisees are tasked with adhering to Indian employment laws spanning minimum wage, working conditions, and employee benefits. The franchisor shoulders the responsibility of ensuring that franchisees are well versed in and compliant with these guidelines, fostering a fair and ethical work environment. Tax and accounting requirements. Taxation on royalties for intellectual property use poses a significant challenge, potentially deterring franchisors from expanding in India. Both franchisors and franchisees must navigate Indian tax regulations, filing returns promptly, and maintaining accurate financial records to meet reporting obligations. Franchisees must navigate the intricate landscape of Indian tax regulations, filing returns promptly, and maintaining the accurate financial records. Simultaneously, franchisors play a pivotal role in ensuring their franchisees meet these financial obligations, fostering transparency and regulatory adherence. In this exploration of franchising in India, we unravel the layers of legal intricacies and compliance challenges, emphasizing the need for precision and vigilance to thrive in this dynamic business landscape. Let's delve into the success story of Domino's Pizza in India, exploring their strategic entry into the market in 1996 through a franchise agreement with Jubilant Foodworks Limited, that is JFL, set a remarkable precedent. Domino's Pizza swiftly rose to prominence not only due to its unique marketing strategies and alignment with local tastes, but also because of meticulous compliance with the legal framework for franchising in India. Success factors. Domino's Pizza's triumph in India is multifaceted. Beyond their culinary appeal, their success can be attributed to astute compliance with franchising laws. The emphasis on intellectual property protection, careful franchise agreement, drafting, and adherence to registration and approval procedures have played pivotal roles. Compliance as a cornerstone. The narrative of Domino's Pizza in India serves as a beacon for aspiring franchisors. The key takeaway is the integral role played by a compliance with India's legal and regulatory framework. Intellectual property protection, well structured franchise agreements, and adherence to registration and approval processes have been instrumental in sustaining and expanding their operations. Guidance for other franchisors. For those eyeing the Indian market, Domino's Pizza sets a valuable example. Collaboration with legal counsel is essential, ensuring a thorough understanding and adherence to the diverse rules and regulations governing franchising in India. The success of Domino's Pizza in India underscores the significance of navigating the intricate legal landscape, while franchising in India presents both opportunities and challenges. Meticulous compliance with laws and regulations is the linchpin for success. By understanding and adhering to crucial aspects such as intellectual property protection, well crafted franchise agreements, and compliance with advertising, marketing, employment, and tax regulations, franchisors can not only establish profitable ventures but also contribute to the growth and dynamism of the Indian market. Regulatory framework for Indian franchise agreements. The regulatory landscape for Indian franchise agreements is shaped by various statutory enactments. Indian Contract Act 1872 governs the fundamental aspects of contracts, shaping franchise agreements with clarity on offer, acceptance, consideration, and parties' rights and obligations. Consumer Protection Act 1986 protects the consumers, treating franchisees as consumers of the franchisor's services and providing remedies for defects in goods or services. Trademarks Act 1999 and Copyright Act 1957 safeguard intellectual property rights essential for franchisors relying on trademarks, copyrights, and patents. Specific Relief Act 1963 provides the remedies for contract breaches, including specific performance and injunctions valuable for franchisees seeking relief. Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 governs the overseas exchange transactions, impacting the repatriation of funds and payment of royalties to foreign franchisors. Transfer of Property Act 1882 overseas property transfers relevant for franchise agreements involving leasehold rights. Income Tax Act 1961 taxes franchisors' income from Indian activities, including royalties from franchisees. Information Technology Act 2000 establishes legal recognition for electronic documents and digital signatures vital for electronically executing franchise agreements. Navigating this intricate regulatory framework is essential for businesses engaged in franchising in India, ensuring compliance and fostering a conducive environment for sustainable growth. Compliance with foreign exchange laws. For international licensors or franchisors, adherence to foreign exchange laws is crucial. India's foreign exchange regulations, governed by the RBI, require compliance with specific reporting and approval procedures for transactions involving foreign exchange. Obtaining the necessary approvals from the RBI ensures a legal and seamless flow of funds. Consumer protection laws. Consumer protection is a paramount consideration in licensing and franchising arrangements. Both parties must adhere to the Consumer Protection Act 2019, which outlines consumers' rights and remedies. Clear disclosure of terms and conditions, pricing, and dispute resolution mechanisms is essential to avoid legal issues and maintain transparency. Termination and dispute resolution. Termination clauses hold significant importance within licensing agreements in India, delineating conditions under which either party may lawfully end the contract. Also known as severance clauses, these provisions authorize the termination of an agreement without breach in cases of early or mutual termination, effectively preventing disputes by establishing agreed upon termination terms. Several common termination clauses feature prominently in licensing agreements in India. Termination for breach. This clause specifies circumstances allowing either party to terminate the agreement upon breach of any term or condition stipulated within the agreement. Termination for convenience. This provision permits either party to end the agreement without specific reasons by providing notice to the other party. Termination for insolvency. Under this clause, either party has a right to terminate the agreement if the opposing party becomes insolvent, bankrupt, or unable to fulfill its financial obligations. Terminations for non performance. This clause allows either party to terminate the agreement if the other party fails to fulfill its obligations as agreed upon within the contract. Termination due to force majeure. This clause grants either party the right to terminate the agreement if an unforeseen and uncontrollable event makes it impossible to continue the agreement. These termination clauses serve as essential mechanisms within licensing agreements, providing a structured framework for ending the contract under various specified circumstances. Licensing and franchising agreements should include comprehensive provisions for termination and dispute resolution, clearly defining circumstances under which either party can terminate the agreement and specifying the dispute resolution mechanism, whether through arbitration or litigation, helps avoid protracted legal battles. In conclusion, licensing and franchising in India present lucrative opportunities, but success depends on navigating the intricate legal landscape. Entrepreneurs must conduct thorough due diligence, draft comprehensive agreements, and stay abreast of evolving regulations to ensure a legally sound and sustainable business relationship. If you enjoyed watching and learning more about the licensing and franchising models in India, I'm sure you'll like our other videos, which are industry specific business updates catered to the Indian economy. To make sure you never miss an update from this channel, hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon, and we'll see you in the next video.